Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. I have a really important update to give you guys today that's going to talk a lot about some of the most important charts that we have inside the market. You guys have been waiting to see if we're truly going to get this blow off top or if we're actually inside of a longer term bear market. I've been very adamant about explaining why I believe that we're going to see Bitcoin going to 250,000, and I'm here to share with you guys another key chart that's predicted two of the last bull runs, and I'm going to explain to you guys how it applies to the current one that we're seeing today. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 21,000 members and growing. Links are in the description for you guys to sign up. You can also download my free ebook and beginner's guide to crypto. Check it out. Links are in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so we're going to be talking about Bitcoin to start off this video, and then I'm going to be sharing with you guys the one chart that's perfectly predicted every single one of the last Bitcoin moves. Now, specifically bull runs. There's a few really key indexes that we watch for inside the markets because crypto is just going to be, more following along the lines of equities or even just the inverse of the dollar. We can follow what Bitcoin's doing because Bitcoin is more of a risk-on asset. A lot of the money that's trading Bitcoin is a lot more risky type of money, and so what you see with Bitcoin is it generally is going to be correlated with the stock market. It's just going to be a little bit more volatile whichever way the stock market moves. Now, we do go through periods in which we see shifts where the stock market might do its own thing and then Bitcoin goes on these big rallies, right? We saw this happen over here at the beginning of 2021. We had this big move from about 10,000 to 65,000. And that was really our last move that we've seen inside of this big cycle. Maybe you could count 14K, but I mean, this was the first leap into new all-time highs. Now, it's really important that we understand, what was it and what sort of charts correlated with Bitcoin going up. Is there certain patterns that we can look to so that we can see what maybe is going to happen from here? And I'm here to share with you guys a really cool pattern that I've noticed that a lot of people have been talking about, but I don't see anybody explaining it in this same way that I'm about to right now. So let's dive right into it. Now, this, guys, is the chart up at the top. Is the US dollar index. Now, this chart on the bottom is going to be just the last, 5 years of Bitcoin cycles, a little bit longer than that. Now, what you guys are going to notice here is we've actually had 3 different attempts of us hitting this resistance, specifically 2 attempts that were breakdowns. This was the first one. We had our first breakdown over here about January of 2017. And then over here, this was actually Corona. This was over here at the beginning. This was over here March of 2020 when all of the markets sold off. Everybody was in a panic over COVID lockdowns and restrictions. And then that was where we saw the dollar pump really hard into resistance. And then from here was when they started releasing all of the stimulus and the dollar trended down once again. Now, as you guys can see, over the last few months, all of 2021, as Bitcoin's been correcting, we've seen the dollar rising, and it's once again come back up to retest the same resistance that for the last 2 times it's rejected from. Now, I've seen a lot of people explaining why they believe that this is going to be breaking out, and I do understand those beliefs, and I do see that there is a potential that this could break out. But when I look at the Bitcoin cycle, it really gives me a lot of confidence that this is most likely going to be some type of either capitulation event or this will ultimately lead to our next big move in the cycle. And so what we're looking here is really just this resistance that's been here for a long time. Now, if we do break this, then that would be, kind of a bearish signal for the most part. Initially, we have seen moments in Bitcoin's price where Bitcoin actually goes up with the dollar. It isn't unheard of. It does happen. It's not always going to be negatively correlated with the dollar, but it's, as a rule of thumb, it is negatively correlated to the dollar. It's going to be doing the inverse of whatever the dollar does. So as the dollar's been going up, notice how Bitcoin's been just going down. And realistically, Bitcoin and the dollar, if you guys notice right here, right over here at this first high, right? This was our first lower high after breaking, or I should say this was our first sell-off after breaking the previous all-time highs. And we ended up going from about 30K all the way to 65K in that next move. But if you guys notice here that the dollar kind of broke out right here, and it was actually going up with Bitcoin. The dollar kind of sold off here, and then that was this sell-off right there. and Bitcoin kind of kept uptrending a little bit, but as it was distributing, the dollar was starting to break out and go up, right? Then Bitcoin makes this big sell-off right here. That's where the dollar makes this move right there. And then we can see that during this correction right there is where Bitcoin ended up topping, making this little short-term higher high. And then as the dollar's been rallying back up to this resistance, Bitcoin's been going down, right? And so this is really interesting because I'm about to share with you guys why this is important in what we're seeing today. And we're going to go and look at a couple different examples here. So this over here, this first rejection that we saw, this was actually the beginning of the 2016 bull run. And if we came all the way back down here in this chart, we can see that when the dollar topped and ended up making this big sell-off, 30-40% or whatever that was what basically gave leeway for Bitcoin to make its big run, right? And where we actually see the exact moment of this chart, the exact peak was right here. So we actually saw Bitcoin sell off with the dollar momentarily, and that's why I think it's important to understand that we can actually see Bitcoin go up with the dollar, and we can also see Bitcoin go down with the dollar. As a rule of thumb, it's going to be inversely correlated, and the dollar selling off from this resistance has created multiple bull runs, and that's kind of the point I'm talking about. But in short-term price actions, during the very first reversal, notice how this was our first lower high after rejecting. Bitcoin sold off at that first lower high, but as the dollar, went for this massive sell-off here, look what Bitcoin did. It went on that massive 2017 bull run. So what we see with Bitcoin is, as a rule of thumb, it's doing the inverse of whatever the dollar does. When the dollar hits this resistance and sells off, Bitcoin goes on massive bull runs. And we can see that this played out once again here. If we come over here, this is the COVID crash, and if we pull this up, this is where we peaked on this exact same chart once again. Notice how we peaked, we hit this resistance, we had this first lower high, and Bitcoin ended up impulsing at that first lower high, and then the entire way down, Bitcoin went on its move to 65K. This was right here. This was right here, right? And so what we're seeing here is a very obvious pattern that's playing out. Every time the dollar has hit this resistance, it sells off and Bitcoin goes on massive runs. We saw that here. Bitcoin went on its massive run to 65K. Now we're at a very interesting point where I've been very adamant about explaining why I believe that we're going to see a blow off top, why this isn't some type of bear flag structure that's just going to crash, and why the dollar is going to reject. I believe that this resistance will once again be proven to be too much for the dollar. I mean, it doesn't make sense why the dollar would keep breaking out. In the short term, it makes sense, right? In the short term, it makes sense. They printed a bunch of money. That's why we saw this down, that's why we actually saw the price going down on this index, was this is all the stimulus. But it makes sense that they were giving out all of this stimulus. All of these rich people were applying for PPE loans. They were getting tons of money. All of the data is out there. I mean, the people that made the most off of all of these loans were rich people. It really didn't help as many of the small guys because it was designed more to help all of the rich cronies in Congress. And so what we saw here was the Federal Reserve printing all of this money, them taking all of this money, distributing it to all of their rich friends. The momentary value of the dollar drops as they're printing the money, as fear of them printing the money is causing the price to go down. And then as they're all holding this money, they then shake everybody out of equities. They shake everybody out of Bitcoin and those type of assets. The dollar rises in value, and then right as it gets to the resistance again, they're going to be taking all of this they're going to be taking all of this free money that they got given by the Federal Reserve, and they're going to be buying assets. They've convinced everybody that Russia is about to nuke everything. They've convinced everybody that the whole world is going to end because of, a million different things at this point. I mean, they're just throwing out different reasons to make everybody scared. It's just a week by week thing. You just got to watch and see what they're going to pull out of their butts next time. And the point I'm trying to make with explaining all of that is just simply they're raising interest rates. The Fed's raising interest rates next month. It's going to be costing everybody more money to borrow dollars, which in turn makes the dollar less valuable. The dollar is itself pretty much only valuable between loaning and being able to lend out our dollars and whatnot. And so when they're raising interest rates and it becomes more expensive to lend out those dollars, the dollar isn't going to keep going up in value, right? It just makes sense to me. I mean, I look at the charts and I see it. It's obvious to me. It's not obvious to everybody else. I mean, when I look at Twitter, when I look at the YouTube comments, there's a lot of people that are just angry for the most part. And I think it's just because they invested more than they were willing to lose, as most people do. But guys, the point of this is now that we're at this resistance, the time to be, selling your Bitcoin, selling your stocks, selling your, whatever it is, definitely isn't now, as over the course of the last 5 years, every time we've hit this level, we've rejected, and it's produced one of the biggest runs inside of Bitcoin. This one produced the 2017 cycle. This one produced the run from 3.8K to 50 or 65,000. This one, in my opinion, produces the move from 40,000 to 250,000 and creates our true blow off top. People are going to doubt that, and it's going to be funny when it happens. Obviously I was wrong about the end of the year cycle top. That's a big thing that everybody still jokes about. Oh, you don't know anything because you were wrong about that. But I mean, these same people that say that also weren't here to watch us while we were accumulating all the way back down in here. So I mean, people that have been watching this channel for a long time, you guys have been in early. You've been in with as long as that I've been in for the most part. And so all of this talk that we're hearing, just ignore it. It's a lot of people that got in over here at the very top. They got in at the wrong times to get in. Now they're just kind of blaming everybody for their losses. And at the end of the day, they're going to be the people that are hating the most. They're going to be the people that you hear the most. And so ignore the chatter, because I'm here to tell you guys that this is the move that's coming. The dollar's at resistance. Crypto is at support. So many different altcoins look great. So many different, NFTs look amazing. I've just been in accumulation mode for, forever, basically since 2021. But I'm really just going to continue to focus in on that. I'm going to hold to my guns. I'm going to stick to my bets that this thing is going to send in a big way. People that listen are going to be rewarded. The people that don't are not. And that's just the way it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys want to see more, you guys want to get more updates, or you guys want to download my free ebook, the Discord invitation link is going to be in the description, along with the download to my ebook. If you guys want to join my VIP, follow the trades that I take, NFT picks, all of that fun stuff, it's going to get to you guys inside of my VIP course. You guys can check out the link there for my website. Thank you all so much for the support. It's been a long journey to get to this point. I'm super excited to see that we're finally at a point where I believe the dollar is going to retrace. We're kind of fingers crossed at this point, but I think that the market looks good. I really am confident in saying that. I've been wrong before, but at the end of the day, I'm way more consistently right than I am wrong. And I think we're all about to make a lot of money if you just choose to hold, stick to the investments that you think are going to pay off, and just focus in on your investments and trading plan. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.